Hi friends, I'm Ashley and welcome to Ash's Cozy Corner. It is that time of year already, the time where we can reflect on all of the amazing memories from last year and start planning for the new year. And because this is a cozy gaming channel, of course, we are going to look back at the best games that released in 2023. My list has a total of 5 games that were the most memorable and fun for me. You guys know I am a Switch girly and I love playing games on the couch, so it also surprised me that one of the games is actually not released on Switch yet and is currently only on Steam. That must mean I really liked it. Before we start, 2023 had so many cozy games releasing. Seriously, we had so many every single month. But it was hard for me to find 5 games that were memorable enough for me to include in this video. One game on this list did release on Switch in late 2022, but it released on Steam this year, so I thought it was okay to include. This does not mean that I did not like the cozy game releases this year, as most were so good. I really just wanted this list to be my absolute favorite games of 2023 and what stood out to me the most. This video is not in order from least to best, as it's just a random order, but I will tell you my absolute favorite at the end of the video. With that out of the way, let's get started on my top 5 cozy games that released in 2023. Let's start off the list with Harvest Moon: Winds of Anthos. Y'all already know I'm gonna have a farming sim or two on this list, as that genre is my absolute favorite. This game was special to me, especially because I was able to play the full game 2 weeks early thanks to their amazing team. So many people wouldn't even give this game a try, as the recent Harvest Moon games have been a bit less than average, but I promise I would not lie to you guys. This one is so much better and Natsume is heading in the right direction. This Harvest Moon story, of course, involves the harvest goddess, harvest sprites, and helping to connect the world back together after a severe volcanic eruption where the harvest goddess had to use all of her powers to keep all of the people and animals safe. This is pretty typical for a Harvest Moon story, but honestly, it's so nostalgic for me, so I love that I can always expect a storyline with the harvest goddess. This is the second attempt at open world for Harvest Moon, and while it wasn't perfect, I love that it had 5 very different towns to explore compared to most farming sims with 1 or 2. Winds of Anthos gives you a huge selection of bachelors and bachelorettes, which is a huge win for me. I immediately knew who I was going to marry because the first town had a bachelor that reminded me of my husband Dusty. Hello, win, win, and win. For a Harvest Moon game, the graphics actually impressed me with how well they blended kind of more realistic-ish with cartoony and still made it feel like a farming game I would play on the Switch. I don't know if everyone feels this way, but too realistic of graphics makes me feel like I'm not playing a game, so I prefer graphics to stay more cartoony. Winds of Anthos also brought a ton of amazing quality of life additions, like being able to use the item finder to find out where things are in the open world. Overall, it was just a solid game and it definitely deserves a spot on my top 5 list for 2023. I do have a first impressions video going into more details and pros and cons of Harvest Moon: Winds of Anthos, so if you're interested in that, I'll pop it up right here. Next up is Mail Time. Earlier in the year, I tried a demo for this game and absolutely fell in love. Thankfully, the full game released on Steam and Nintendo Switch this year, so I didn't have to wait any longer to play. Mail Time is a platforming exploration game where you deliver mail across Grumblewood Grove. The platforming is very light, so don't worry if you're not the best at them. There were very few parts during my playthrough that I even struggled with any of the jumps. Also, no fall damage, so that makes it so much easier as well. The game really is super simple, but I say that in the best way possible. Even with the simplicity, you will absolutely fall in love with this game and its characters. Every single character had the goofiest dialogue, and I promise you fall in love with them in just the few minutes you spend with each character. There's also this really cool paraglider you get to use to travel around Grumblewood Grove that reminds me of Breath of the Wild. One of the very best parts about Mail Time, however, would be the graphics. The entire game is themed after cottagecore, which is like my favorite theme ever. So having an entire game themed around cottagecore is a literal dream. There is so much greenery, mushrooms everywhere, forests, just everything the perfect cottagecore game would need. The graphics are actually one of the main reasons I showed interest in the game before it released, and they did not disappoint. Plus, nothing in this game is stressful at all, so it's a 10 out of 10 cozy experience all around. I highly recommend buying this game if you haven't already, but keep in mind it is only around 3 to 4 hours max, including getting all of the achievements. For the third game on this list, we have Loddlenaut. This is the game that somehow made it on my list without being on the Nintendo Switch. This is a huge honor because I really don't play games on my computer unless I really want to play the game. Loddlenaut is a short but very full game about cleaning up a polluted ocean planet. I don't think I've ever played a game that was underwater or had underwater levels that wasn't extremely stressful, but Loddlenaut is definitely not stressful. You get to explore underwater peacefully, cleaning up trash and zapping goop away, and it's probably some of the most calming things I've done in a video game. No, really. Play this game and see if you don't say the same thing afterwards. There's just something about being underwater that makes those tasks that much more cozy. Also, the music probably played a part in that too, as the music fits so well and is perfect for this game. I can't talk about Loddlenaut though without talking about the Loddles. I can literally take them out of the game and squeeze them. They are so cute. Loddles are basically little axolotl alien creatures that you take care of by cleaning their environment so they survive. You can even pet the Loddles. 10 out of 10, game over, done. There's nothing else I need to say. But really though, this game was so calming to me, and if you've never played a game like it, I highly recommend checking this one out. Okay, up next is, drum roll please, Fae Farm. This game. It went above and beyond my expectations, and yes, they were high. If I'm being honest, I only had one complaint about this game, and that was the relationships. Everything else was so much fun. Fae Farm took all of the normal farming sim parts included in games and made it so magical. Every different chapter of the story, I was seeing something new, from fairies, dragons, colorful frogs, and even everyday items like books turned into enemies. The whole time I was playing, I never once felt like it wasn't magical, even down to the chickens. Speaking of the animals, you can breed them to have different colors, which is so fun. As I was playing, the game just kept drawing me in more. As the longer I played, I felt like I had more stuff to do. Things kept unlocking, more places to explore kept popping up, and I was just constantly blown away by how much content the game had. I feel like I also need to mention how amazing the customization and decor is. You can change the color of almost every single piece of decor, down to even specific parts of the item. That is so impressive, and I don't think I've ever had a farm that was as cute as my farm in Fae Farm. You have like 10 different skills to level up, some of those being fishing and bug catching, and the fishing mechanic is actually different in a good way than most farming sims. I just feel like the team who created Fae Farm had some really talented people, because this farm sim is so different and so magical to me. This game was a no-brainer for me to include in my top 5 cozy games of 2023. The last game I'm going to mention actually released on the Nintendo Switch in 2022, but it released on Steam in 2023, so I'm going to include it. I know that's kind of cheating, but I really wanted to include this game on my list, and that game is Ooblets. This is the most colorful, weird, funny, and quirky game I have ever played. Ooblets is an adventure life sim that just screams fun from the first time you turn it on. While playing, there was very few times I ever talked to an NPC without laughing, so the dialogue is something to be praised in this game for sure. Ooblets also adds a battle system into the game without compromising its coziness by making them into dance battles. You all, I had so much fun with these dance battles, and Dusty would even stop what he was doing in the house to watch me do them. The dance battles were never too complicated, just fun little additions to get new ooblet seeds, which you plant to get more ooblets. My favorite part of the game was definitely collecting the ooblets, especially getting gleamy ooblets, which is this game's version of a shiny, think shiny Pokemon. They're also still making new seasonal updates for Ooblets, different seasons for free, which bumps it up on my list easy. There's also a really unique story in Ooblets that leads you around to different towns and places, and overall, this game is just so unique and so fun. And that is my list, friends. At this point, you probably either think I'm crazy or some of your favorites are on this list too. I don't know if anybody actually guessed what my favorite game was by my descriptions of the games, but my favorite game of 2023 was absolutely Fae Farm. Even with its flaws, this game captivated me more than any other game this year, and I was definitely on my toes waiting for it. And now it is your turn. I want to know your top 5 cozy games that released in 2023. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a cozy day and God bless.